The Call of the Angels, The Walk of the Being of Light. Prologue, The Awakening. In the infinite silence, where time is but a breath and space a canvas woven with golden threads, a presence stirs. It is not a body, nor a shadow, but a glow, a pure essence, vibrant like a star torn from the firmament and placed upon the ground of an invisible world. The being of light opens its eyes, or rather, it feels itself opening them, for it has no lids, no pupils. It is vision itself, an unbounded gaze, a consciousness that embraces infinity. Around it, the air, or whatever this intangible substance might be, shimmers. Wings unfold, not with the rustle of feathers, but with the whisper of an ancient melody, a song the universe has forgotten. Angels. They are there, motionless and yet in motion, their silhouettes radiating a gentleness that does not belong to this world. Their faces are not faces, but reflections, mirrors of what the being of light could become, if only it dared to follow them. One of them steps forward. Its voice is not a sound, but a vibration that resonates within the being's soul, as if each syllable were a celestial chime. Come, a single word, an invitation. Part 1, The Encounter. The being of light hesitates. It has no feet, and yet it feels it could walk. It has no hands, but it senses it could reach out to these creatures of grace. The angels do not rush it. They wait, patient, as if they know that time, here, has no hold. Where are we going? It asks, and its voice is a flash of light dancing between the stars. An angel smiles, or rather, the being perceives a smile, a warmth spreading through it like a summer breeze. To where everything begins, to where everything ends, to where you will remember. The words are enigmatic, but the being of light understands, not with its mind, but with its essence. It knows, without knowing how it knows, that this journey is a return to something it has lost, or perhaps something it has never had. It takes a step, or rather, it thinks of taking a step, and suddenly, it is moving. The ground beneath it is neither hard nor soft, but a surface that adapts to its will, as if reality itself bends to its desire. The angels surround it now, their wings spread in an arch of golden light. They do not walk ahead of it, but with it, like companions, guides, friends reunited after an eternity of separation. Part 2, The Path of Memories. The landscape changes, or perhaps it is the being of light that changes, and the landscape with it. Colors shift, deep blues, iridescent purples, greens that exist in no mortal world. Sometimes, shapes appear, cities of crystal suspended in the sky, forests whose trees sing, rivers of light flowing backward toward their source. Look, murmurs an angel, pointing to a floating sphere, transparent as a teardrop. Inside, the being of light sees itself, but not as it is now. It sees itself other, smaller, denser, as if trapped in a shell. It sees eyes, a face, hands, limits. And then it sees the pain. A pain so intense it pierces it like a blade. Even here, even in this realm of peace. That was you, the angel says. Before. The being of light recoils, horrified and fascinated at once. Why show me this? Because you must remember. To move forward, you must first accept what you were. Part 3, The Ascent. The angels do not force it. They invite, again and again. Each step is a choice, each breath a decision. Sometimes, the being of light stops, overwhelmed by the weight of these memories that are not its own, and yet so familiar. The angels wait, their wings trembling with patience. One day, or perhaps an eternity later, they arrive before a door. It is made neither of wood nor metal, but of pure light, so intense it seems black. The being of light knows, without being told, that beyond it lies the answer to everything. Are you ready? Asks the nearest angel. The being of light looks at its companions. Their faces, those shifting reflections, are filled with a love so pure it hurts. It knows it could refuse. It could stay here, in this realm of beauty and peace, for eternity. But something within it burns. A thirst. It nods. Or rather, it is the nod. The door opens. Part 4, The Whisper of Doubt. The being of light pauses at the threshold of the door. The radiance beyond is both terrifying and alluring, like the edge of a cliff overlooking an endless ocean. It turns to the angels, their faces now flickering with an intensity it has not seen before. What if I am not ready? It asks, its voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. The angels do not answer immediately. Instead, the air around them hums, and the being of light feels a warmth spreading through its essence, as if the very question has ignited something within it. One angel steps closer, its form shimmering like a mirage. Readiness is not a state you achieve, the angel says. It is a choice you make. You have always been ready. You have always known. The being of light looks down, or rather, it attempts to look down, but there is no ground, no body, only the endless expanse of its own luminous self. It realizes, with a sudden clarity, that its hesitation is not fear of the unknown, but fear of remembering. Fear of confronting the truth that has been veiled for eons. What will I become if I cross? It whispers. The angels' wings stir, and their voices blend into a chorus, soft yet resonant. You will become what you have always been. The words echo, not in the air, but within the being itself, as if they have been waiting to be spoken since the beginning of time. It takes a breath, or what would be a breath if it had lungs, and turns back toward the door. The light beyond pulses, as if alive, as if waiting. Part 5. The Mirror of Truth. As the being of light steps closer to the door, the angels part like a sea, revealing a vast, shimmering expanse. The door is no longer a barrier but a mirror, reflecting not its outer form, but its soul. In the reflection, it sees fragments of itself, countless versions, each trapped in a different moment of time. One fragment is a child, curled in a corner, weeping silently. Another is a warrior, standing alone against a storm. Another is a lover, reaching out to a shadow that slips through its fingers. Each fragment carries a weight, a sorrow, a longing, a regret. The being of light reaches out, and as its light touches the fragments, they begin to dissolve, merging into its essence. These were my lives? It asks, its voice barely audible. These were your lessons, an angel replies. Each one a step on the path to hear. Each one a piece of the truth you sought. The being of light watches as the last fragment, a version of itself, standing at the edge of a precipice, afraid to jump, fades into its light. It feels a surge of power, not the power to dominate, but the power to understand. The mirror before it ripples, and for the first time, it sees not fragments, but a single, radiant whole. I am all of them, it realizes. The angels smile, their light intertwining with its own. And they are you. Part 6. The Final Choice. The door, or what was once a door, now stands open, revealing not a path, but a void. It is neither dark nor light, but a space where all possibilities exist at once. The being of light feels the pull of it, a gravitational force drawing it towards something it cannot name. What lies beyond? It asks, though it knows the angels will not give it the answer it seeks. Beyond is not a place, an angel says. It is a becoming. It is the moment when the seeker realizes it was never separate from what it sought. The being of light turns to the angels one last time. Their forms are beginning to blur, as if they, too, are dissolving into the light. It understands, now, that they were never separate from it either. They were fragments of its own soul, guiding it home. Will I see you again? It asks. The angels' voices merge into a single, harmonious note. You never left us. With that, the being of light steps forward, or perhaps it simply is the step itself. The void embraces it, not as an end, but as a beginning. It feels itself expanding, dissolving, and yet, for the first time, it is whole. Part 7. The Weight of Light. As the being of light steps into the void, it feels an unexpected weight, not the heaviness of matter, but the gravity of meaning. The void is not empty. It is alive, pulsing with the echoes of every soul that has ever sought, every heart that has ever loved, every mind that has ever questioned. The being of light realizes it carries all of it within itself, like a star carrying the memory of every photon it has ever emitted. Why does it feel so heavy? It asks, though there is no one to answer but itself. A voice emerges from within, not from the angels, but from its own depths. Because light is not just brightness. It is also responsibility. To see, to know, to remember. These are not gifts without cost. The being of light understands, now, that its journey was never just about itself. It was about everything. Every fragment, every life, every sorrow and joy it encountered was a thread in a vast, invisible tapestry. It was the weaver, and it was the woven. Part 8. The sacrifice of the self. In the heart of the void, the being of light encounters a shadow, a dark, silent shape that mirrors its own form. It recoils at first, instinctively, for the shadow feels like the opposite of all it has become. But the shadow does not move, does not threaten. It simply is. "What are you?" the being of light asks, its voice trembling. The shadow speaks, and its voice is the being's own, but deeper, older. "I am what you left behind. The fear, the doubt, the parts of you that could not follow. I am the price of your light." The being of light reaches out, and as its light touches the shadow, it sees the truth. The shadow is not its enemy. It is its sacrifice. To become pure light, it had to let go of the weight that anchored it to the old world. But the shadow is not gone. It is transformed, integrated, no longer a burden but a foundation. "You are my strength," the being of light whispers. The shadow dissolves into its light, and the void brightens, as if a veil has been lifted. Part 9. The Song of the Universe. The being of light now hears a sound, a melody so vast and intricate it feels like the heartbeat of creation itself. It is not a song, but the song, the one that has been sung since the beginning of time, the one that will echo until the end. The angels reappear, but they are no longer separate beings. They are notes in the song, harmonies in the symphony, and the being of light is the melody. "Sing with us," they say, their voices weaving into the music. The being of light opens itself, or rather, it is the opening, and its light becomes a voice, joining the chorus. It sings of love, of loss, of beginnings and endings. It sings of the child it once was, the warrior it became, the lover it yearned to be. It sings of the shadow it embraced and the light it carried. The song is infinite, and it is home. Part 10. The Return. As the song reaches its crescendo, the being of light feels a shift. The void is no longer a void. It is a womb, a place of creation. The angels' voices soften, and the melody begins to fade, not into silence, but into a new beginning. "You must go back," the angels say, their forms shimmering like stars at dawn. "Back?" the being of light asks, confusion rippling through its essence. "But I have only just arrived." "You have always been here," the angels reply. "But there are others who are still lost. They need your light." The being of light understands. Its journey was never just for itself. It was a cycle, a descent into the world, a return to the light, and now, a choice to descend again, not as a seeker, but as a guide. Part 11. The First Step. The being of light takes a step, or rather, it is the step, and suddenly, it is no longer in the void. It stands on a path, a winding road that stretches into the distance. The sky above is a canvas of twilight, painted in hues of gold and violet. The air is cool, and for the first time, it feels something it had forgotten: breath. It looks down and sees hands, real hands, solid and warm. It sees a body, not of light, but of flesh and bone. It is human again, or perhaps human for the first time. The angels are gone, but their presence lingers like a whisper in the wind. "Why this form?" it asks the silence. A voice answers, not from without, but from within. Because love must have hands to hold, a voice to speak, a heart to feel. The being of light, now a being of flesh and spirit, smiles. It takes another step, and the path unfolds before it, leading to a village in the distance. Somewhere, someone is waiting. Part 12. The Gift of Light. The being of light enters the village as the first stars appear. It walks among the people, unseen at first, but its presence is felt, a warmth, a comfort, a quiet joy that spreads like ripples in a pond. A child looks up and smiles, though it does not know why. An old woman sighs in relief, as if a burden has been lifted. A young man, lost in sorrow, suddenly feels a spark of hope. The being of light does not perform miracles. It does not need to. Its mere existence is a gift, a reminder that light is never truly gone, even in the darkest night. It sits by the fire in the village square, and the flames dance higher, as if in recognition. "Who are you?" a woman asks, her eyes reflecting the firelight. The being of light looks at her and smiles. "I am what you forget when you are afraid. I am what you remember when you hope." And with that, it knows its journey is not over. It is only beginning again. Epilogue, the revelation. What lies beyond cannot be described. It is neither light nor shadow, neither sound nor silence. It is everything, and it is nothing. The being of light understands, at last. It understands it was never separate, never lost. It was simply remembering. The angels are still there, but they are no longer guides. They are brothers, sisters, parts of itself it had forgotten. It laughs, or weeps, or sings, perhaps all three at once. And then, gently, it dissolves, not as an ending, but as a return. The last thing it feels is a hand it reaches out to something, or someone, in the darkness. A hand that waits.